Netflix has fired Kevin Spacey from the hit show House of Cards. Kevin Spacey plays the protagonist, President Frank Underwood, on the show. And this is supposed to be the last season of the show, but they had suspended production a couple days ago in response to lots of sexual harassment allegations coming out against Kevin Spacey. But tonight, Netflix did announce that they are officially firing Frank Underwood from the show. Now, they haven't said where exactly the plot of the show is going to go, but clearly they're going to have to do something about the show, about the plot, because he's one of the main characters. So will the president get killed on the show? The weird thing is, if he gets killed, they can't really show it too close up or in detail because they won't have Kevin Spacey to play the person. Or maybe they show his back or something like that. Anyways, we're gonna cover this for you, give you an update about what happened and some backstory about Kevin Spacey and on these allegations. Some new allegations came out tonight about Kevin Spacey, by the way. We'll talk about those. And we'll also take your comments. We want to hear what you think about this. Maybe some of you out there are fans of House of Cards and you have strong opinions on this. So write to me on Twitter with your comments at Lookner, at Lookner. Let me just do a quick check here, make sure the sound is okay. See on these allegations. Sounds okay to me. By the way, you might have noticed we've made a little bit of an adjustment with the set. We're still working on it here in our Studio B in Atlanta, but it's a little bit. We've done some things where the camera's a little further away from me. I kind of like it. I feel like it's a little more space, so you won't see me filling so much of the screen, which I think is pleasant. But there might be some hiccups with that. Right before we came on, I had to slightly adjust the camera to make sure everything was in its right place and you didn't see things you weren't supposed to in our studio. So I apologize for any mistakes. We'll be working on that over the weekend. But this is our new kind of, it looks a little more like it looked when we were in our original studio. So we're constantly trying to make improvements for you here. Okay, so let's talk first about this, the news that came out tonight, the specific news. Netflix dumps Kevin Spacey from House of Cards. And the streamer says it's evaluating the future of the series. It sounds like they're going to continue shooting the last season, but without Kevin Spacey. So this is from EW. It says if and when House of Cards returns to Netflix, so they're not sure it will be without Kevin Spacey. The streaming platform officially announced plans to cut ties with Kevin Spacey amidst an ever-growing list of sexual misconduct accusations. We're going to talk about those in a second. So Netflix tonight said, a spokesperson said, Netflix will not be involved with any further production of House of Cards that includes Kevin Spacey, a Netflix spokesman said in a statement. We will continue to work with MRC, which I believe is the production company of the show, during this hiatus time to evaluate our path forward as it relates to the show. We have also decided we will not be moving forward with the release of the film Gore, which was in post-production, starring and produced by Kevin Spacey. So that's kind of big too, because when a film's in post-production, that means they've already shot the film. They paid to hire the actors, and they paid all of the crew, and they went and shot all the scenes. And in post-production, they're just doing the editing and putting the music on and stuff. But so much of the work is done and so much money has been spent on it already, but they will not be moving forward with the release of the film Gore, which was starred and was produced by Kevin Spacey. And so now, and they said it says here, we will continue to work with MRC during this hiatus time to evaluate our path forward as it relates to the show. So it's not clear that the show is returning, but it sounds like what might be happening is the show is going to keep going and they're going to shoot the rest of the season just without Kevin Spacey. How they do that creatively, your guess is as good as mine. So let's talk a little bit about some of these accusations for those of you who weren't familiar with the Kevin Spacey story. The big first accusation that came out, they talk about it here a little bit. I have a little more about this though elsewhere. It's been less than a week since Star Trek actor Anthony Rapp came forward with allegations that 26-year-old Kevin Spacey made sexual advances towards Rapp when he was 14 years old. So that was the first one, where Anthony Rapp well, I'll show you a little bit about that in case you weren't familiar with it. If I can, there's a link here I had. Is this it right here? Yeah, there it is. So this is the original accusation. This was published about 5 days ago. And this is the EW article. But just to give you an idea about this backstory, this was the first big public accusation of sexual misconduct. And it's an actor, Anthony Rapp, who is currently on Star Trek Discovery. And what he basically says is, he says, I'm going to move down here if I can find it here. Here it is. In an interview with BuzzFeed published late Sunday, Rapp alleged that Spacey invited the then teenager to his Manhattan apartment for a party in 1986, where Rapp said he spent most of the evening in a bedroom watching television. He said he didn't know people at the party, so he just went in and he kind of bored there, so he started watching television. As the night wound down, Rapp said he found himself alone in the dwelling with Spacey. My memory was that I thought, oh, everybody's gone. Well, yeah, I should probably go home, Rapp said. According to Rapp, Spacey appeared in the bedroom doorway and allegedly picked up the young actor like a groom picks up the bride over the threshold. But I don't squirm away initially because I'm like, what's going on? And then he lays down on top of me, Rapp said. And Rapp said he was trying to seduce me. I don't know if I would have used that language, but I was aware that he was trying to get with me sexually. And Rapp said he left the apartment after the alleged incident, but claimed to have a memory of turning around and thinking, what was that? What am I supposed to do with it? What does it mean? The older I get and the more I know, I feel very fortunate that something worse didn't happen. And at the same time, the older I get, the more I can't believe it. I could never imagine that anyone else I know would do something like that to a 14-year-old boy. And then in the aftermath of this accusation, Kevin Spacey came out with a statement. And in this statement, so I'll read his statement in case you missed his statement. This was from about 5 days ago. He said, I have a lot of respect and admiration for Anthony Rapp as an actor. I'm beyond horrified to hear his story. I honestly do not remember the encounter. It would have been over 30 years ago. But if I did behave then as he describes, I owe him the sincerest apology for what would have been a deeply inappropriate drunken behavior. And I am sorry for the feelings he describes having carried with him all these years. This story has encouraged me to address other things about my life. I know that there are stories out there about me and that some have been fueled by the fact that I've been so protective of my privacy. As those closest to me know, in my life I've had relationships with both men and women. I have loved and had romantic encounters with men throughout my life, and I choose now to live as a gay man. I want to deal with this honestly and openly, and that starts with examining my own behavior. So Kevin Spacey, in this statement where he apologized to Anthony Rapp, also came out as gay. He had not ever done that before, and there were a number of people who criticized, including people from the gay community, who criticized Kevin Spacey for mixing his coming out message with a message apologizing for an incident where he allegedly tried to have sexual relations with a 14-year-old boy. So that was the first big accusation about Kevin Spacey. But in the ensuing days, there have been more accusations. For example, there's this one that came out where a number of employees accused Spacey of sexual harassment. I'm going to talk about it in a second, but I want to just say, again, this is Right Side Broadcasting. The story we are covering here tonight is that Kevin Spacey has been let go, fired from House of Cards, as you can see right there. House of Cards has been shooting its last season. They have been on hiatus since the first accusations came out about Kevin Spacey, and they now say they're firing him from the show. It looks like maybe they're going to shoot the rest of the season without Kevin Spacey. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We're going to be taking your comments on this soon, so if you want to have your comment read on the air, as long as it's clean, write into me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. And also, if you do like our coverage here at Right Side Broadcasting, if you like these late night live streams and you like an alternative to the mainstream media, please consider donating, because it's your donations that keep us on the air. We are viewer supported here at Right Side Broadcasting. And speaking of which, Just as I said that, Elizabeth Luker made a donation. So nice. Elizabeth Luker, $50. Wow, that's very nice of you. She says, as always, thank you for all that you do. We need you all to keep doing this amazing work. To our RSBN family, stay safe and blessed. Don't let these punks take over your community this weekend. Whose streets are streets? God bless everyone. Elizabeth is referring to the protests, I guess you could characterize them as anti-Trump protests. I don't know. I need to go back. Don't hold me to that, but there are left-wing groups protesting this weekend. November 4th, tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on that. But thank you, Elizabeth, so much for the donation. If you'd like to donate and help keep us on the air and support Right Side Broadcasting, you can do what Elizabeth did. Just go to the YouTube chat room. At the bottom of the chat, there's a little dollar sign there. You can just click on that little dollar sign. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Thank you so much to the moderators, by the way, for moderating tonight in our chat rooms. And I see JC there. I don't know if any of the other ones are awake, but thank you, JC, for staying up with us. Okay, so as we mentioned, we talked about the first accusation, the big one from actor Anthony Rapp about Kevin Spacey. But as I was saying, in the ensuing days, in the last week or so, last 5 or 6 days, there have been a number of other accusations. So another big one was a bunch of 8 people who worked for House of Cards or do work on House of Cards currently told CNN that that Kevin Spacey made the set of Netflix's House of Cards into a toxic work environment. 8 different employees told CNN this. Let's see here. One former employee told CNN that Spacey sexually assaulted him. All 8 people described Spacey's behavior as predatory, saying it included non-consensual touching and crude comments and targeted production staffers who were typically young and male. Let's see if there's any other details here. I know there's other details. I just want to show you an example of them. The production assistant says that when he and Spacey were just minutes away from the set and while the car was moving, Spacey, who was driving, put his hands down the production assistant's pants. The production assistant told CNN that the touching was non-consensual. I was in a state of shock, he said. He was a man in a very powerful position on the show, and I was someone very low on the totem pole and on the food chain there. Once they arrived on the set, the production assistant says he helped the actor take his production belongings from the car to Spacey's trailer on the set. While the 2 men were in the trailer, the production assistant says Spacey cornered him, blocked his exit, and made inappropriate contact with him. The production assistant did not report the incident to any managers of the series or the police, but he did tell a coworker at the time. CNN has spoken to the coworker to corroborate the production assistant's story. So that's just some of what these accusations were from the coworkers on House of Cards. Here's another one. A crew member who worked for this show for all 6 seasons said that Spacey routinely harassed and touched him. He would put his hands on me in weird ways, the crew member said. He would come in and massage my shoulders from behind or just put his hands around me or touch my stomach, sometimes in weird ways that normal everyday conversation would not be appropriate. So we had those accusations from 8 co-workers, either present or past, of Spacey at CNN, and they told CNN that. And that came out. And then tonight, there was an article with new accusations against Spacey from BuzzFeed News. There's several accusations in this article. I'm going to go over them in a second. But first, I got to say thank you to Carl Peterson. Carl Peterson gave $20. Thank you so much, Carl. That's really nice of you. And Carl says, RSBN is growing. Bigger, better, stronger. Unity is our key. MAGA for sure. Thank you, Carl. Very kind of you. As I said before, it's your donations that keep us on the air, so we really appreciate it. If you want to donate, you can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click the dollar sign there, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. And to get notified when we're coming on the air with these breaking news videos, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell, because that will get you a notification. I got a notification about this one tonight. It seems to be working again. That will get you a notification about whenever we come on the air. And as you can see, we come on the air at all hours here at Right Side Broadcasting. Okay, I want to talk about the new We're here covering, again, Kevin Spacey has been fired by Netflix tonight from House of Cards, where he plays the main character. They're shooting their last season. Now they're in hiatus. They took some time off to deal with the Spacey stuff and decide what to do. Now they say they fired him, but they might actually shoot the rest of the season, but without him, which will probably make for an odd transition on the show. I have to confess, I have never seen House of Cards. It's one of these things I would like to watch. So many shows on the air. That is one I have not watched. I do not have as much time to watch TV shows as I would like these days because we've been pretty busy here lately, but maybe I'll get the chance to watch it one day. But I will say for veteran viewers of the show, they must be like, what's it going to look like without him on the show if they do more shows? Hey, Cindy Black made a donation of $5. Thank you so much, Cindy. Very nice of you. We really appreciate it. So, but I wanted to get to the accusations that came out today about Kevin Spacey, the additional ones in this BuzzFeed News article. It says, I'm reading here, in the 5 days since Anthony Rapp came forward on October 29th with the first public sexual misconduct allegations against Kevin Spacey, more allegations have surfaced spanning 4 decades and 2 continents. Now, 3 more men, including one who was a minor at the time, have told BuzzFeed News that they met Spacey in professional settings but soon became targets of inappropriate sexual conduct. And I want to give you a little sense of what some of these accusations are here. Where is it? Here's one. I'll go through this one. When Justin Dawes was 16 years old, Spacey, then 29, invited him and a male friend over to watch the movie Chinatown. Instead, Dawes told BuzzFeed News Spacey gave him a cocktail and played pornography. I'll keep down. When Dawes and his friend arrived at Spacey's home, a bare apartment, they found the actor had rented for the run of the play he was in. They found no one else. Dawes told BuzzFeed News that Spacey then made them cocktails and was playing gay pornography on the television in his living room. Let's see. We all had a drink and we were kind of like, oh, no one else is coming? And he's like, oh, no one else decided to come. And he never mentioned that this porn was playing. It was really awkward. Dawes told BuzzFeed News, and he said he knew I was in high school. It was pretty clear. It was not like I was pretending to be an older, cooler person. He said while he found the situation sleazy and manipulative, it was not intimidating or pushy. At the time, the 16-year-old felt like he should have realized Spacey wanted him to come over for reasons related to sex. So they left and they never interacted again. So that's one of the accusations here. And then here's another one. This is one where in the early 2000s, a journalist, then in his early 20s, interviewed Kevin Spacey in London for a national magazine. Skipping down a bit. Then after the interview, Spacey invited him to go out with some friends for drinks. Almost immediately after they arrived at the club, he said Spacey began aggressively groping him. He just kept reaching between my legs and, just grabbing my dick, he said. I would move his hand away and say something that I thought was pretending or was fun, and say something that I thought was pretending was funny or whatever at first. And then I was starting to get annoyed by it, and that was pretty clear. I got up to leave at one point, and Spacey sort of grabbed me and tried to make me stay. I ended up sitting back down. He kept rubbing my leg. I moved seats. He came over and sat next to me again. I was trying not to make a big scene because I had an assignment to write about him. So it wasn't clear to me that I should just knock his teeth out or something. And then he says, toward the end, finally the journalist said he'd had enough and left the club. Spacey came out after me and literally stood between me and the door, he said. This man was screaming in my face outside of the main bar area, red-faced, spit flying out of his mouth, screaming at me with fury because I didn't want to F him. He was actually saying that I did want to and I was a coward. That was his tactic. It was unbelievable. So there's that accusation. There's another accusation down here from somebody named Mark Ebenhawk, who was working as a military advisor on the movie Outbreak in 1995, and he says at a certain point, where does it say here? Right here. It says, With about 4 weeks left of filming, Ebenhock told BuzzFeed News one of Spacey's assistants approached him out of the complete blue one day after the crew's lunch break, asking Ebenhock to come to Spacey's trailer just 40 feet away. They asked flat out to engage in a sexual act. It was enough to stun me. It blew me away. So that's from this BuzzFeed News article. This just came out today. So new accusations about Kevin Spacey. So you can read that. You can read the different articles for more details if you'd like. But in the aftermath of all this, I don't know if the Netflix had made their decision before or after this article came out. It came out at 7:29 p.m. tonight. But Netflix has fired Kevin Spacey from the show House of Cards. By the way, Sound Creation made a donation. Thank you, Sound Creation from Canada, and said Trump tweet from 2012, got to do something about these missing children grabbed by the perverts. Too many incidents. Fast trial, death penalty. Now, I have not heard any accusations that Kevin Spacey has kidnapped any children, just to be clear. But thank you so much for the donation, Sound Creation. So, would love to hear some of your comments on this issue. What do you think Netflix should do? Do you think they should continue the show? Should they just end the show? It was going to be the last season, reportedly anyway, they said. Although it was a little unclear. They said a couple days ago this was going to be the last season of the show, but it wasn't entirely clear whether that was due to the Kevin Spacey stuff or whether they had already decided on having it be the last season. That was not totally clear, but as of tonight, it was supposed to be the last season, but they did announce that they're going to fire Kevin Spacey. So any thoughts on this? Give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. I'm going to see if anybody's written me so far. Lieutenant Dan says Kevin Spacey fired for going to Epstein's Lolita Island. Obama, Clinton, lots of Dems went there. Why isn't anything happening to them? Fire sessions, he's useless. So I'm not entirely clear what you're saying here when you say Epstein's Lolita Island. Are you saying he's fired for trying to hook up with minors? I am not aware of Obama doing such a thing or being accused of doing such a thing. But feel free to clarify, Lieutenant Dan. Thank you for writing in. Don Loki says, surprised CNN is reporting on this. Oh, wait, actually, that's not it. You say, surprised CNN is reporting on this, figured they would be celebrating it. I'm a little confused on if they would be celebrating it, wouldn't they also be reporting on it? Maybe I'm not understanding your tweet. Feel free to clarify as well. Reagan Better says, why hasn't Screen Actors Guild President Gabrielle Carteris done anything to prevent these cases? I have no idea if she knew about any of this stuff. No idea at all, so I can't really speak to that. Thank you for your comment, Reagan Better. Beth Trojanowski says, good, now I hope more people get turned into rehab, really? Prison bound. And when you say rehab, I should have mentioned this before. Kevin Spacey has said in recent days he is now going through some treatment of some sort. He has mentioned that. Let's see if I can find you that quote. Kevin Spacey to seek treatment as sexual accusations grow. That was from yesterday's New York Times. They reported he was seeking treatment. Molly writes in good, it's a start. All pedophiles need to be locked up with each other and let them all live where they can't reach innocent lives. Now, I should mention again, nothing has been proven about Kevin Spacey. So what we have are a lot of accusations made by a lot of different people, but he hasn't gone to court. He hasn't been convicted of anything. So that's where we are at right now. Jenks wants me to talk about Bo Bergdahl. We did a whole stream about Bo Bergdahl this morning. You can go watch it on our YouTube page at Right Side Broadcasting if you haven't seen that. So we are covering this story, Kevin Spacey fired by Netflix from House of Cards. We're going to be on a little while longer here. So if you would like to send in a comment on this and have it read on the air, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Also, we really appreciate when you like our videos on YouTube and you share them on Facebook, because we're a small company. We can't even afford to advertise. So you liking and sharing our videos really helps get the word out about Right Side Broadcasting. And to know when we come on the air with these videos, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell. And you can also follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting and on Twitter at RSB Network. And I'm on Twitter. I post about a lot of breaking news stuff. I'm on Twitter at Lookner. Trump Jr. writes in, it's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to see if there are any kind of late-breaking Kevin Spacey updates. So, yeah, this person's from BuzzFeed News. He points out that hours before Netflix's decision, BuzzFeed News revealed 3 new accusers. We were just looking at that article, and I don't know, again, whether that article had anything to do with Netflix's decision, or were they going to do it anyway. A. Radford writes in, how can you tell if Kevin Spacey has company? Answer, he has a big wheel parked outside his house. So A. Radford sent us a Kevin Spacey joke. Jenks writes in, how is it that everyone high level has no clue what happens under them? So definitely with Harvey Weinstein and also with Kevin Spacey, there are people who say, people around these people must have known what was going on and didn't do anything about it. So that certainly has come up with these 2 cases and other cases of sexual harassment. I know someone resigned or was fired from, what was it, NPR. I'll show you that. And where is it here? This might have been, so this is the top NPR News executive, Mike Oresky, resigns amid allegations of sexual harassment. And I think in this interview with Mary Louise Kelly from NPR, she questions the CEO about I don't know if it's like why more wasn't done. Where is it here? Like she says stuff like, if that is the sequence, if you knew of these multiple allegations, did it cross your mind that leaving Mike and his job might put our colleagues at risk? So, and this is this is about this person from NPR, but my point is that, with these cases of prominent people being accused of sexual harassment, some people would say, well, people must have known this was happening, and why wasn't anything done about it? Reagan Better says Kevin Spacey has a Twitter. So far, it's been quiet. That's an excellent point. So Kevin Spacey did post this on his Twitter. We read this before, his apology statement to Anthony Rapp, but that has been up there since October 30th. Nothing after that from Kevin Spacey on Twitter. I wonder, are people posting comments now on that? Like, let's see here. There's so many comments posted on this Anthony Rapp post by Kevin Spacey. I'm trying to see if people posted in the last few minutes, if they're going and replying to this, because it's the last post up there, but there's so many replies to that. It's so hard to get through. I can't do it right now. Too much. Yeah, there are. If you see this post, this Kevin Spacey post where he apologizes, there are 18,000 comments on it. So I'm not going to go through 18,000 comments. Thanks again to the moderators for moderating the chat rooms tonight. Much appreciated. Trump Jr. says they'll probably give him an Oscar like that other pedo. I don't know who you're talking about specifically. Trump Jr. Okay, I think we've gotten all your messages now, and so we're going to wrap this up in a minute here. But appreciate you all joining us late night for this live stream. Thank you all for writing in your comments, and thank you for the donations. It's really nice of you. We hate to keep reminding you of this. You know, in an ideal world, we'll have enough money where we don't have to ask for donations. But it does keep us in business, and we really want to stay on the air, bringing you news coverage. We love doing it, and so we thank you for letting us do it. But your support's what keeps us on the air. So if you like Right Side Broadcasting, if you like our coverage as an alternative to the mainstream media, you can donate by going on any of our broadcasts to the bottom of the YouTube chat, clicking on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Even small donations are welcome. They all add up. And also you can donate at rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get notified when we're coming on the air with these videos. Could be at all hours. Follow us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting. On Twitter, at RSB Network. I am on Twitter at Lookner. And what else was I going to say? Jason Thornton says thanks. Thank you, Jason. Jason, you made it for the late night live stream tonight. If you had missed 2 in a row, that would have been really sad, Jason, because I know you like the late night live streams. Thank you, other people, for saying thanks. Thank you, JC, for saying thanks. Thank you for moderating tonight, JC. We'll see who else is in the chat room right now before we get off the air. Thank you, the administry. Ebiscom says, Steve, Air Force One is leaving Hawaii now. I did not know that. Thank you, DM. Thank you, Timberlab. Thank you, Casper's Cave. Casper's Cave said he or she got out of bed to tune into RSBN. John Jensen made a donation. Thank you, John. We really appreciate that. Very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you, CD Random. Thank you, Big Tom. Thank you, Todd, Joseph. Thank you, Grant Patillo. Okay, I think at this point, thank you, Rocky Mike. I was about to wrap it up. A couple more people. Elizabeth Lucas has been waiting all day for live chat, and it's 30 minutes long. We did one this morning too, Elizabeth. We did like almost, I think, an hour on Bo Bergdahl. Thank you, Kekastani. Thank you, Raised on the Radio. Thank you, Todd, Zayu, Madeline, Kathleen, Elysia. Thanks, guys. Okay, we are going to wrap this up right now. We'll be covering breaking news this weekend. If we hear anything big, we will come on the air. We'll keep an eye on those protests tomorrow. I guess later today, technically, if it's after midnight for wherever you are. But for now, I am Steve Lookner. This is Right Side Broadcasting. Have a great night, everyone. Everybody, and a great weekend, and we will see you soon.